This world is fast becoming a bit of a farce in many ways. Uh, that was dramatic. I know it sounded dramatic, and I meant to change it. That was the line I was going to begin this with, and I meant to change it, but I didn't. Um, Kids are being born nowadays. Increasingly, it's already begun to happen. Kids have been born who will never live a life, um, who will live their entire lives without ever not being exposed to social media, right? They're going to be born into it. They have been, and there will soon come a time where everybody around, everybody living, will have their entire lives, lived around it, if that makes sense. Everybody walking around this planet at some point in time, very soon, in a few years, will have a life where they don't know anything else, or where they don't know what it is not to have social media and that kind of connection. And there's going to be consequences to that. Again, not to sound dramatic. To live a life where you are not being your most authentic self, that's going to have consequences for you as an individual. For a society to have this on a large scale is going to have consequences for the society on a much larger scale. We all struggle with authenticity. Some of us don't even strive for it. Those of us who do, don't always get it. We all fail. We all go through moments of where we lapse. Where we are not in line with who we'd like to be. But social media has always been dangerous. And over time, its impact is gonna become bigger. Even though there are people who use it responsibly, and I'm trying to find the silver lining here, because there's always something good to every new technology, right? But the people who use it responsibly are definitely not the majority. I don't want to think they're a minority, but they're not a majority. And we see it. We see the effects of this kind of exposure. We see the kind of rage that gets incited on levels that we never would have known. The kind of stuff that was happening in the 60s, right? With all the protests and the riots and what have you. I mean, that was only going to get up to a certain scale for what that technology could allow back then. What we have available to us can be a great asset, but it can also be turned around and become a great liability. I don't like to think this way. Sometimes I just sit down and I think when I shouldn't. When I know that I have a life to live, and my mind could be better served on other purposes. Sometimes I just find a little bit of free time and I start to think. And I know that's unhealthy, but some things do need to be thought about. This might be one of them. I don't know if it is a problem, right? I don't know if there's anything I can do about it. So, maybe thinking about it is a little bit pointless, and I could be using my time better.